This video is a short overview of how the calf is shaped on this knee-high sock. And if you're knitting this sock, you'll know that you start working the ribbed pattern on the instep. And the first stitch is a purl, then the rib, then a purl, and then the pattern is repeated. Now, after the heel is shaped, you work 1.5 inches with the pattern just on the instep, at which point you switch over to working the pattern across the entire leg. And at that point, the purl stitch before the first rib is the beginning of the round, but we're going to shift that purl stitch, the beginning of the round, to both of the purl stitches, so immediately after the rib. And the reason for that is we're going to start shaping the calf in the space between the rib here and the rib here. Okay, if you follow this up, you can see where this happens. Now, I have used lifted increases in order to work these the increases for the calf. And the reason I did that is lifted increases are virtually invisible, particularly when worked in a dark yarn. And where it begins is right here, and I have left my little markers in here so you can see them. The increases are worked on the same round as the eyelet round. And you can't see it, but you know, there you can barely see it. There's a little marker right there. I'll be cutting these out. The first increase is worked to add 2 purl stitches. And so you use paired lifted increases, and there's a video showing how to do this. And then and you can see that lines up with this eyelet. On the next eyelet, you work 2 lifted increases to add 2 knit stitches in that column of purls. And then the next increase is just simply doing the double yarn over, and that will add 2 stitches. So we have increased 2, 4, 6 stitches here. And then we work up to this location where we add a purl stitch. So from this point on, we've got 3 purl stitches. Do the same thing on the other side of that rib that we've added, and across all of the ribs. So at this location I have 2 purl stitches, and when I get up to here I have 3 purl stitches, 3 purl stitches, and then I'll be adding 4 purl stitches, 4 purl stitches. And I have across the top 4 purl stitches between each rib, where down here I have just 2. Now, I still need some additional width at the top of this sock, so on either side of the column that I have added, I add 2 additional ones. Because I have 4 purl stitches here already from doing my increases across, all I need to do is my paired lifted increases on the knit side, and then at this location I do my double yarn overs, and that's my increase at that point. I don't decrease for the pattern. Now, in this location, you can see I still have just 2 purl stitches on either side of these ribs. And if I need additional width, or if you need additional width at the top of your sock, what you can do is you can add 2 more stitches between all of those columns using the same techniques you did down here. And that should give you some additional room at the top. You can see that my shaping stops right here. This is the same circumference from this point on. And that's a general overview of this process. Now the pattern will provide some very specific information on how this is done.